New Zealand yet to have a single shot, and we're approaching 40 minutes played. They are having a bit of a spell here though, the team in white. They've got the ball in their back line again. They look to try and forge an opening. It comes from De Bruyne as Finn Sermon has to recover. Ball forward to Joe Bell, sliding in his Trossard, he can't get there. In fact, it was De Ketelaere. Out to the left it goes with Kasasi, who looks to drive forward once more. His ball into the feet of Ryan Thomas, who's dropped deep. Back to Kasasi, who does well to control the ball, which bobbled in front of him. He's just 30 yards from goal, looks to drive across the face of it and knocks it across to Tim Payne. Payne's first time ball in, a good one. Cleared away and out for a throw-in on the left-hand side. Michel underneath it. Looked like it might just drop out for a corner. The spin on the ball was directing it out towards the flag, but it looks like it will be a throw-in which will be taken long. But Tim Payne, on the angle, really deep as he put the ball in, and that's the way they're going to find Chris Wood. You want him facing goal with a ball on his head. That is where their number 9 is at his best. In comes the throw in towards the front post, straight into the arms of Thibaut Courtois, who's unfazed by that one, and in his all-yellow strip is able to launch the ball up into the sky and out of play on the halfway line for a throw-in. Doku was underneath it, he couldn't control. Joe Bell picks the ball up, takes that throw-in and knocks it back to Tim Payne. Here is, in the centre of the park, Stamanic to Bell. Stamanic of Swansea City receives it again before he switches it down the left. Lovely ball out wide, headed onwards by Kasasi. No one there though. Headed away this time by Castagna and back all the way through to the goalkeeper Courtois, who gets there ahead of Chris Wood from the defensive header back to him. Well, match momentum is a graphic we've been seeing on our monitors. Belgium really dominated the opening half an hour, particularly around the 10-minute mark, but since the goal, New Zealand have been on top. Here's Arthur Tieta, across to Brandon Michel. He's got it deep, looks to play a ball forward into the path of Tielemans. Tielemans looks to thread it through towards De Bruyne, who can't get there, but it comes back to Tielemans after New Zealand failed to control. De Bruyne out wide this time to Hans Van Aken, back into the lineup, having not played last time out. Van Aken back to De Kuyper. Now Doku on the left, he just stands up his defender before taking them on. Lovely play from the Man City winger. Doku on the edge of the box. Doku'd whip ball in towards the back post, wide. New Zealand 0, Belgium 1 it remains. 39 minutes gone. Doku there just waited and waited with Tim Payne. He actually sent him to the floor after beating him. Created the angle for himself to shoot. Was looking for that far post. He bent the ball between Ryan Thomas and Tyler Binden, but just couldn't quite find the top corner. It was high and wide and out for a throw-in. But great play from Doku, who's been a bright spark for Belgium. Here is Arthur Tieta. Back to Thibaut Courtois, who smashes long, and it will go all the way through to Binden in the back line for New Zealand. He leaves it for Libato Kasasi, who looks to bring it back into the Belgian half, but they're playing with a little less urgency now. The team from Oceania against the team from Egypt. From Europe. Egypt topping Group G as things stand on 5 points. Here is Stamanic as a Mexican wave takes off in the crowd, despite this game being played at a different host nation stadium here in Vancouver in Canada. That ball's played in. Good ball towards Singh, couldn't get there. Courtois alert to it. It was driven in from absolutely nowhere, that ball. Kasasi out on the left-hand side on the halfway line. He just spotted the rung of Sarpreet Singh. From 40 yards, he picked him out on the edge of the 6-yard box, but Courtois was alert and stuck a boot out to clear. All the way through it went to Max Crocombe, who just stands on top of the ball in the New Zealand goal, and the Mexican wave passes by again. Here is Kasasi, who gives the ball away, this time on the halfway line where Van Aken was waiting. The man from Club Bruges, who's involved in a Euros team with Belgium. De Bruyne cuts the ball back and receives a 1-2 from Trossard, but De Bruyne fires over the top of the crossbar. He helps Finn Sermon back up onto his feet. I think he trod on his ankle. You expect better, you really do, from Kevin De Bruyne. Lovely play to find Trossard as he drove in on the angle, continued his run, and as it fell to De Bruyne, he just fell into Sermon. He tried to bend it around him and in, but all he could do was fire up and over the top of the crossbar, and it remains New Zealand 0, Belgium 1 with 42 minutes gone. Headed onwards from the goal kick by New Zealand. Here is Singh, who's almost dropped in as a centre forward. Singh's found the run of Chris Wood, but Wood can't control, and again it rolls through to Thibaut Courtois, who will just knock it out from under his feet. And Belgium, well, they haven't really hit second gear since they scored that goal. They're just happy knocking it around and playing comfortably as Tielemans plays it back to Michel. Approaching half-time here. Expect at least 3 minutes of stoppage time. Trossard, though, threads it through to De Ketelaere, one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Good save from Max Crocombe. De Ketelaere looking for the left-hand side of Max Crocombe's net. Crocombe got down well, extended his arms and just managed to push it away. Still with Belgium, though. Ball forward to De Ketelaere again. And now Trossard. Across to De Bruyne, edge of the box. He looks for Castagna. Poor ball headed away. And De Bruyne is beaten to it by Just on the recovery run. And here comes Stamanic driving forward before Just takes over again. Out wide it goes. Waiting for it was Kasasi, but the ball couldn't find him. And Belgium will come away with it once more down the right-hand side. Here is Castagna, and it feels like the momentum has shifted once more, and the Red Devils firmly have the game in their grasp. Tielemans to Trossard. Here is Arthur Tieta. Back to Trossard. Trossard to Tielemans once more. Former Leicester City man, now of Aston Villa, who plays the ball down to the right-hand side where Castagna is waiting. Here's Trossard again. Castagna again. Back to Trossard. This time he's got some space on the right-hand side. Looks to just switch it to the left where Doku is waiting. He brings it down with his knee before playing it inside to Van Aken. Here's Doku again. One-on-one with Tim Payne. Doku's had the best of that battle so far and has had the best again here, but his crossing is poor and it's cleared away as far as Tieta, who heads to De Bruyne, who heads all the way back to Michel. De Bruyne once more. Brandon Michel brings it forward. He's under pressure because his touch was heavy, but is able to lay it off to Castagna. Here's Michel again, edge of the box. Knocks it inside to De Ketelaere, who looks to pull it across to Doku, who couldn't get there. Long-range effort comes in from Van Aken. No one can finish it off. Tielemans has it on the edge of the box now. All the red shirts still forward. Here's Castagna, right-hand side. Lays it through to Trossard, who cuts it back to De Ketelaere. Cleared away by New Zealand. And again, the Belgian pressure just doesn't pay, and De Bruyne has to sweep up and restart things for his side. Here is Michel. De Bruyne, edge of the box. Is able to find Castagna out wide. Castagna to Doku. Doku backheels it into the path of De Bruyne, but cleared away again by New Zealand, who will come away with it by Ryan Thomas with his short white socks. Play switch down the right. Tim Payne controls with his chest as he starts to drive away into opposition territory. Cuts the ball inside, leaving it for Joe Bell. So a reminder of the group situation. Egypt and Belgium both on 5 points. Egypt ahead of them though. Iran on 3, New Zealand on 1. So Egypt and Belgium will be the only teams to reach the knockout stage as things stand. 6 minutes of first half stoppage time, perhaps a little more than I expected. 3 of which, of course, from the hydration break. As New Zealand have Elijah just bundled down in the centre circle. They continue to play forward, though, as Ryan Thomas has the ball on the left. He's going to lay it off for Kasasi, who cuts it into the path of Tyler Binden, who's deep. Just again. Steps inside. Ball to Joe Bell. They're looking for an equaliser here, New Zealand. 1 minute of the 6 added on has been played. Here's Bell again on the left-hand side. All the white shirts still forward. Here's Just, edge of the box, able to lay it off and out from under his feet to pick out Kasasi. This time the cross in from deep. Chris Wood's gone to ground in the box. He just ran into the back, I think, of De Kuiper, who was defending well. And Courtois able to make the catch and to roll it out. Belgium will continue their play as they switch it to Michel. Here is Trossard, 1-2, to find Castagna over on the right. Here's De Ketelaere, who's been threaded through. dances his way towards the edge of the box, cuts it for Trossard. Trossard leaves it to Van Aken. Van Aken with his left foot takes a deflection out for a corner. Better though. They're starting to realise that New Zealand are deep and that to create the space, Belgium, they have to move the ball quickly. They had it at right wing. They knocked it inside to Trossard, who just laid it off with a little back heel straight into the feet of Van Aken, and that's what really got the ball rolling. But Van Aken unable to get it out from under his feet quick enough. His shot out for a corner, which is taken quickly. Doku has it. He drives inside, ball across, bumbled off the goal line again. De Bruyne has it on the right. His cross into Tieto, who gets a head on it, can only flick it wide down the left-hand side, and eventually New Zealand able to clear. But the short corner, a good one, into Doku, who danced along the byline, put the ball across, but no Belgian player, three of them were there, none of them able to quite extend a boot and to stab home. Here it is with their back line though, as they continue their pressure. Brighton's De Kuiper to Tieto of Frankfurt. Wide right to Castagna. Castagna plays for Fulham, but he's given the ball away, and Tielemans comes and sweeps back up. He picks out De Bruyne. De Bruyne switches it down the left-hand side where Trossard is waiting. He can't get there, the Arsenal man. The Manchester City man, Doku, can though. He's got it on the left, does one step over before taking on Just. Ball in towards the back post, looking for the on-rushing Hans Van Aken, who can't get there, and the shot in on the angle from Timothy Castagna. Really poor, really high over the crossbar, really needed to cross. Couldn't do so, and it goes out of play for a goal kick. But Castagna, part of the Leicester City team that won the FA Cup back in 2021, their first time winning that competition, joined Fulham in 2023 for £15 million. He started against Egypt in this tournament, came on in the 57th minute versus Iran, and he is one of the players on yellow card watch. He got one against Egypt. If he gets another one, he would miss any potential last 32 matches. Tieto able to clear down the left-hand side. He can't quite pick out Doku because the ball's bounced out of play. It came back into play, but it did go out first. And the ball back with Finn Sermon to Bindon. Bindon down the left to Kasasi, just inside his own half, in front of the big yellow central billboard. All the adverts around marking different brands and organisations, but the central panel says Vancouver, which switches over to British Columbia and the name of this tournament in big letters. Here come Belgium. They switch the ball down the left-hand side now. Driving forward with De Ketelaere. Here is Doku. Back it goes now to De Kuiper. They're just happy to see out this first half. They've got 90 seconds remaining of it, Belgium. They've got their first goal by their own player of the tournament. Trossard had it. He stabbed in from close range off a corner, and here comes Doku down the left. Doku to De Bruyne. Chance for a second here. He's got it on the edge of the box, left-hand side. Cuts it into the path of De Kuiper. De Kuiper looked to play it across the 6-yard box, and it's cleared away. And Tieto has just gone through the back of Chris Wood, but the referee says no foul play on as Michel picks it up. Here's Tielemans to De Kuiper. Tielemans has gone down. Play continues. Or at least play did continue until Tielemans got up and sized up to Ryan Thomas, which forced the referee to blow his whistle. And actually, Chris Wood is hard done by to not have a free kick because Tieto just ran through the back of him. Well, we've played 50 minutes and 15 seconds of this first half. Ryan Thomas being told off. He's being told to calm down by the referee. 30 seconds of this first half remain. New Zealand 0, Belgium 1. Frustration for Darren Baisley now, who looked a calm figure early on. Belgium get us back underway. This will be the last phase of this first half for our 15-minute break. Courtois out wide to Michel. Michel to Castagna. Castagna chips the ball forward, looking for the run of Trossard, who can't win the header. The ball gets the wrong side of him. And that does bring up half-time. New Zealand 0, Belgium 1. Leandro Trossard with the goal. The first goal by a Belgian player at this tournament this year. He could have had a couple earlier on as well. The Arsenal man. He had one from the right-hand side, which bounced off the post, rolled across the goal line, and Tyler Bindon somehow, I'm not sure he was aware of it, but was somehow able to clear away off the goal line. The ball was 3/4 over before it trickled away. Before a corner came in, it wasn't dealt with at all by Tim Payne, the defender, and it fell 3 yards from goal to Trossard, who slid in and smashed it into the top corner of the net. And at half-time, it's New Zealand 0, Belgium 1. Elsewhere in this group, Egypt 1, Iran 1 is a half-time score. Sabre with a goal in the 5th minute, Rizayan in the 14th minute, which means that Egypt are top of this group, Group G, on goal difference. Belgium are second. They will be the two teams to go through as things stand. Iran third and New Zealand fourth. Half-time though, in Vancouver, New Zealand 0, Belgium 1.
Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page.
So New Zealand 0, Belgium 1. The second half about to get underway. New Zealand shooting from right to left, Belgium from left to right. New Zealand in all white, Belgium in red shirts with yellow trimmings, black shorts and black socks. Belgium, well, they lead through a Leandro Trossard goal as play gets underway, and Stamanic for New Zealand immediately booked for a challenge on Yuri Tielemans, who's down. He's in some discomfort there. Sliding challenge came in, and he just came through the side of the Belgium captain, Stamanic of Swansea City, the first player in the notebook. So New Zealand 0, Belgium 1. No changes at half-time for either side. In fact, there is one change, a change for New Zealand, and that is Thomas off for Old. So that's a change at right midfield. Ryan Thomas was agitated on the stroke of half-time. So Ben Old, who played most of the second half of their previous match against Egypt, comes on to be the right winger for New Zealand. And they also take off Sarpreet Singh as De Bruyne picks the ball upon the edge of the box, looks for the wrong long-range effort and fires wide. It all opened up for him, but he couldn't quite direct it goalwards. But as I was saying, Sarpreet Singh will leave the field of play. Jesse Randall will come on. So frustration, we said at half-time, from Darren Baisley, the English manager of the New Zealand national team. And he has decided that his attacking line is the problem and has made changes to try and get the supply line going to the big number 9, Chris Wood. Here they have the ball with Joe Bell. He looks to his right-hand side and picks out Tim Payne. Payne with a long ball, lofted forward, looking for the onrushing Randall, who's just come onto the field of play. He's able to win a throw-in on the right-hand side. The ball bounced off Artetieta, and out it goes for a throw, which no one seems to want to take. Tyler Bindon eventually starts to stroll over. Chris Wood glances down at his boots as he readies himself to receive the ball from the throw. It's Bindon who's got it in his hands. He takes 3 big steps back, launches it in towards the front post, headed away, not quite dealt with. It's up in the air and eventually stabbed clear down the left-hand side by Leandro Trossard. Here is Crocombe, the goalkeeper for New Zealand. So no change, 2 changes for them at half-time. Crocombe in goal, a back four of Kasasi, Bindon, Sermon and Payne. 2 holding midfielders remain unchanged. Bell and Stamanic, who was booked early on, just continues down the left with Randall and Old on in the cam role and the right midfield role. Chris Wood continues to lead the line for Belgium, for New Zealand, who have the ball in their back line. Finn Sermon picks it up. As for Belgium, Courtois in goal, De Kuyper, Tieta, Michel and Castagna the back line. Tielemans and Van Aken in holding midfield. Trossard on the left, Doku down the right, De Bruyne down the middle, and Charles de Catalera, the lone striker. Throw in for New Zealand on this right-hand side in Vancouver. Thibaut Courtois, the record holder for most appearances at this tournament for Belgium, in goal for them once again, following a spell out of the national team due to a disagreement with former boss Tedesco. Ball over on the left though with their defensive line. Tieta has it. They're looking to build on their success in the first half. Belgium, who bring it out with Michel. He clears long and into De Catalera, who switches a play down the left looking for Doku, who's got some running to do to beat Tim Payne. Such closing speed though, but Tim Payne able to just pry away and clear the ball out, but it's a poor clearance that falls on the chest of De Kuyper. Here's Doku again. Edge of the box, left-hand side, edges forward, cuts himself back towards the centre circle, but he's still dancing around with the ball. Doku, he lays it off this time round to Van Aken. Van Aken back out wide to De Bruyne on the angle. De Bruyne's ball through to Trossard, who looks for his second, gets it out from under his feet, but it's blocked away. Second time shot, and in. That was scrappy. That wasn't the kind of goal you really want to see, but the Belgians won't mind. Leandro Trossard at the double. His second goal in this tournament. The second scored by a Belgian player at this tournament. And my word, that was poor defensively from New Zealand, as was the first. Doku started the move off down the left-hand side. It fell to De Bruyne, who found Trossard. Trossard dug it out from underneath his feet, got the shot off, but it took a deflection, bounced back to him, and he was easily able to, with a second time shot, just bring it down with his chest and stab it in. Max Crocombe probably should have saved it. He was unsighted because Tyler Bindon was stood right in his eye line. Fine finish from Trossard, who brought it down with his chest and volleyed it in, but really that was a defensive mess from New Zealand. They may well be heading home. Belgium may well be heading through. New Zealand 0, Belgium 2, 50 minutes played. And it will be New Zealand to get us back underway. Chris Wood stands a dejected figure. VAR has confirmed the goal. Not sure what they really had to check there. And play will resume from the centre circle. Referee blows his whistle, play does resume, and Chris Wood knocks it straight back into the path of Joe Bell. Bell's got players all around him for support, but just holds the ball up before knocking it back to Tyler Bindon. Could expect this game now to get a bit out of control. Belgium sat back with their 1-goal lead. Clearly they've been told to score early on in the second half, and that's exactly what they did as they piled numbers forward. Here is Van Aken. He lays it off to De Kuiper, left-hand side, back to Van Aken again, who looks to drive down the channel, but is forced backwards by a high press from New Zealand. Play switch down the right though. There's space for Castagna, whose lovely touch sets him away down the right-hand side. He knocks it through to the centre forward, Charles de Catalera. He's drifted out wide to the right as he puts a cross in. No one there though. Rolls all the way through and not really dealt with before Tim Payne receives it at right back and knocks it long. Belgium win it back though. Inside the Kiwi half. De Kuiper exchanges a 1-2 with De Bruyne. Here is Arthur Tieta. Out wide again to Michel, who's going to bring it forward and try opportunity to chip a ball down the right-hand side where De Catalera hit with his studs. He's on the bar now as he cuts the ball back and into the path of Castagna. Castagna's low ball across the edge of the box finds De Bruyne. De Bruyne to De Kuiper. Here's Doku on the left-hand side. He deserves a goal for his enterprising work in this match, but his crossing is poor and out of, well, I was going to say out of play it goes, but it's kept in on the far side before eventually being knocked out of play for the New Zealand throw-in. Arthur Tieta, the player to smash it out of play. But Doku's been so good in this match. Dancing through, driving hard, standing up defenders, but he just hasn't quite had the opportunity to make a shot. So 2-0 the scoreline. Here is Tieta. He can only stab it into the air. De Kuiper. Across to Michel. Picks it up again and lays it off to Tieta, who goes all the way back to Courtois, who's under pressure from Chris Wood. Courtois knocks it out from under his feet before driving up and into the Vancouver